Okay, so this is the oil pump out of my Frontier, 2006 Nissan Frontier. Mysteriously, it spun a bearing. I haven't found a cause yet. I'll put some pictures up here to show you what the spun bearing looked like. But yeah, I haven't found a cause, so still kind of going through and autopsying everything and seeing what potentially happened. Man, these screws are hard to get. All right, took a little bit. By the way, if you don't have one of these impact drivers, definitely get yourself one. They're cheap. I need to get a new tip for this one, but basically you whack it with a hammer, and it's got a. You can see as you push in, it twists. So the hammer forces it to turn when you whack it, and it's great because it forces it into the chuck or into the top of the bit, so you're not gonna strip it out. But anyway, for the sake of like $30 or whatever, definitely worth having one in your toolbox. All right, so before all that, I think I was saying that spun a bearing in the truck, in the process of rebuilding the engine. Still looking for a cause as to why the bearing spun. Get this stuff out of the way. I think I showed you the pictures for all that. If not, I will now. And here's the oil pump with all the screws loose. So we'll have this thing open and see if we find anything. I was getting a low oil pressure indication, which is actually not uncommon on this particular year of truck. If I can link to something, basically what it comes down to is Nissan said that it's a normal thing, the low oil pressure that I was experiencing. So I don't think I'm going to find anything here, but might as well have it open and take a look anyway. So this is I believe they call them a positive displacement pump. Of course, I just lifted that thing out of there. So this piece goes on the crankshaft here. So these two little tangs engage on the crankshaft. So this is actually turned by the crankshaft of the engine. It's not chain driven or anything like that. If the engine's turning, this thing's got to be turning. Okay, so just a relief valve like any other we've seen. There's a little we've got nested springs here. A couple interesting things about nested springs. You'll notice that nested springs are always wrapped in opposite directions from each other so that they don't bind, right? So you see how this one's wrapped this way and this one's wrapped this way. So that way the two springs will not bind against each other. And generally that's done you have nested springs so that you can't hit a harmonic between any one spring. So, springs will have harmonics, and maybe, this is going to be spinning pretty fast, as fast as your engine because it's geared directly to the crankshaft. So it's very possible that you could get like a harmonic with just one spring where this valve might want to float around in there. Let me get something longer to pop that out the rest of the way, and hopefully we'll see something interesting. Okay, so here is the relief valve. So we've just got a channel here with a couple ports. It was up inside of here, and there is a hole up on top. You can see up there. All right, so I think I got this figured out. So the engine turns this way, clockwise, as you're standing from the front of it. So this is the pickup, which makes a lot more sense. So the oil comes in here, gets trapped in these gears, and gets dumped on this side. As the pressure builds here, it's going to push against this relief valve, right? And it will dump the oil back to the intake side and just, allow it to recirculate into the pump. So that's about all there is to it. I didn't really expect to find anything when I tore this down. There's really no way it can fail, really, other than lack of lubrication, obviously. If you didn't have oil in this and it wore out or just ran dry for a while, you would obviously have some issues. But, you know, these things produce way more volume than you really need to give you adequate oil pressure. So I really didn't think this was going to be the issue. But anyway, it's an interesting look at how it works, and hopefully it was helpful to someone. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.